Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the English translation of the Majlis of Hazrat Maulana Qamar Uzzaman Saheb Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Sunday, the 23rd of Zulhijjah 1445, the English date 30th of June 2024. Hazrat Wala starts off by quoting the ayat of the Quran Majid, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, sirat al-ladhina an'amta alayhim, ghayri al-maghdubi alayhim walad-dallin. Ameen. Hazrat Wala is saying that on a daily basis, this pattern and the silsila that people come and listen, this is continuing for a long time. It is a great fortune for me that you people come. It gives me an excuse to make bayan. Now I'll tell you about Allama Sha'rani. What did he say to his students? That it is your grand favor upon me that you people have come here just in the state of what we would say a khet bankar, like this orchard or this like cultivating land, and I just needed to take that seed and plant it. Allahu Akbar. Allama Sha'rani, a very great personality. Otherwise, it could greatly be possible that I could have been sleeping now. And this is something that we do collective, ijtima'i. And from the very start, this is how it was. From the age of 17, I was Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb, and I never missed a majlis. On one occasion, I came late, and when Hazrat inquired that you late, then I said that at home, ghar mein se tabiyat nasaz hai. And what was the reality there? At home, that was actually the daughter of Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb. But just look at this here. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb then said, it will be bring great pleasure to me that you are serving my daughter. However, this year that you are getting nuqsan and harm regarding your dini progress, I cannot tolerate this. Now this was the tarbiyat of Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb, and this was when his daughter was ill, she was not well. Nevertheless, Allah Ta'ala accept this. You know, whatever Hazrat would be happy about, we gave first preference to that. Hazrat ki riza, whatever he would be happy and pleased with, we gave preference to that. Now you people make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ke sihat bhi rahe aur kaam bhi jari rahe, that Allah ta'ala blesses me with the health and this work continues as well. This is a very, very great ni'mat, bahut bari ni'mat. Itne log jama hote hai, aate hai, so many people gather, come. Otherwise, what am I doing? Maybe I'm reading, maybe I'm writing, etc. But when I know you people are coming, I become ready. And Allah Ta'ala give us all that shauq and that zawq. Ma awlad, the murideen, one and all. If there is no shauq and there is no zawq, there is no thirst, enthusiasm, then people would not even come and sit. There were many people that would not even attend. They were here, but they would not even sit in the majlis of Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb. Now here, in the kitab, the author, he's got the subheading there, Surhi, Tambih wa I'lam. Tambih wa I'lam. This is the surhi and the subtitle, the heading that the author puts there. Now what is it? Tambih, to alert you and to make you aware, wa I'lam, that you should know well and deeply, because he's going to say something now very, very important. He's trying to captivate your mind and your attention. Now Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of making qadr. You would not find this in the marketplace. In the bazaars you would not find this here. Janna chahiye कि हक सुबहानहू व ta'ala ने इब्राहिम अलैहि सलातु वस्सलाम के कल्ब को नूर रिदा से मुंबसित कर दिया. You should know well that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened up and spread out the heart of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam with the nur of Riza, the nur of Rida, of being pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now that's something very, very great, to be pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now this is something tremendous. Harche as dost mi rasad ne cost. Whatever comes from the side of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is only khair, nur and barakat in it. Mu'min ka kaam yahi hai. And this is the work of a believer. Ni'mat par razi. Niqmat par razi. He's happy on if the situation is and his halat is that he's with the ni'mat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's pleased with it. And if something, the difficulty comes, niqmat comes, trial, tribulation, on that occasion he also is happy. Cheez ko nahi dekh rahe. He's not looking at what came. Ye dekh kiski taraf. He's not looking at what came, but rather he is looking at from who it came. Har cheh az dost mi rasad ne cost. Look at the Hajar Aswad. Look at the Hajar Aswad when Ibn Arabi came and he recited the Shahadatain. What happened? It became mumbasit. It opened up. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot be how can we word it? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fits into the heart of a mu'min. Ashraf Ali, Hazrat Haji Imdadullah said, Ashraf Ali, translate this kitab, it will be of great benefit to the people. He did not just go and ask any alim, but rather he asked Hazrat Maulana Tanvi. Now, in the terminology, we would say he was not an alim, Hazrat Haji Imdadullah, but what we would say, alim gardhe, he was rather an ocean of knowledge. Hazrat Maulana Qasim Saheb, Hazrat Maulana Rashid Ahmad, they made ruju to him. And what did he have to say? The reality of the matter is that Maulana Qasim Saheb and Maulana Rashid Saheb supposed to be here in my place and I was supposed to be in their place. But Allah Ta'ala wished it to be such. Allah Ta'ala made it such. What was in his heart? In his heart was the haqiqat of Quran and Hadith. So we should also able to understand how to master translating. This is also something which should be learned. Hazrat Tanvi says, I was not deserving of that, but it was the hukam of my sheikh, so I went on to translate and I would show it to Hazrat Haji Imdadullah Saheb every day, and that's how the kitab then was composed. Nevertheless, when we looked at it, in fact we looked for the Arabic also. At 2 a.m. in the morning the kitab was found, and then we thought that, listen, let us simplify it further. But when we had a look at this translation, it was so tremendous that we abandoned all what we had actually thought, and we left the kitab in its original way, and this is how it is here. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened the heart of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam with the nur of his happiness. He blessed him with the essence of with this quality, handing himself over to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nevertheless, here Hazrat Wala is going over this particular ibarat, that fafham min dhalika ayyuhal mu'min, understand well from all of this here, that anna man istaslama ila Allah ta'ala fi waridatil imtihan a'ada Allahu alayhi shawkaha rayhana wa khawfaha amana. जो मौके इम्तिहान में अल्लाह की इताअत इख्तियार करता है, अल्लाह ताला खार को गुल और खौफ को अमान कर देता है. That at the situation of imtihan, challenge, test, trial, examination, if a person obeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he adopts obedience to Allah, then Allah ta'ala will change the thorns into beautiful flowers and roses. Allah ta'ala will exchange fear and put in its place peace, safety and security. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to us that Allah Ta'ala has opened up for the Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam the roads of Hidayat, and thereafter the Mu'minun followed in their footsteps, and those who had yaqeen in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it incumbent upon them to follow the footsteps of the Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam. Allah Ta'ala says it in these words, قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ ala basiratin ana wa man ittaba'ani. Say that this is my path. I am calling towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ala basiratin ana, and upon insight, foresight I am, wa man ittaba'ani, and those who are with me, those who are with me. Thereafter, Hazrat Wala quotes those ash'ar, which are complete, full of naz. That, oh Allah, you also come out. Come and see what is happening with me, just on the basis, and what's my crime? That I am following your command. Because of my love for you, this is what is happening to me. And a person who comes out of the tadbir, choosing this for himself, this, that and the other, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then takes over that, and then Allah ta'ala plans for him. The job and the duty of a peer and a sheikh is this: he doesn't take the people and restrict them to himself. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb's khas andaz, his style was this year, that don't come and hold me. Don't come and stick on here to me. Listen, myself and the speller that's here in front of you, we are the same. What can I say? Hazrat Wala is saying, Muwahhid the. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb was one who possessed the true conviction, rather Tawheed, deep belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, only Allah. Hum or sutun mein kya farak? What's the difference between me and the speller? Wahidullah, proclaim the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَإِنَّ التَّوْحِيدَ رَأْسُ الطَّاعَاتِ, because the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that will lead one to all types of obedience. It is at the head, right at the top of all obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If there is tawheed, there will be value to that obedience, and if there is no tawheed, that obedience and ta'at will be meaningless in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So make your tadbir, do what you have to do, but do not put your gaze on whatever plans and structures you are putting together. Keep your gaze on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying millata abikum Ibrahim huwa sammakumul muslimin, that this was the creed, this is the tariqah of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. So it is the right of every such person who says he is upon the creed of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam, that he becomes completely free from doing this and that and the other. Rather, he should put his trust and his tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala completely and totally. He should hand himself over to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَنْ يَرْغَبُ عَنْ مِلَّةِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ إِلَّا مَنْ سَفِهَ نَفْسَهُ. Who can ever turn away from this creed, these sifat of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam, except the one who is a fool? And what is the essence of his creed? لَازِمُهَا التَّفْوِيزِ إِلَى اللَّهِ. The essence of it is handing oneself over to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wal-istislam fi waridatil ahkam, and when it comes to the ahkam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be totally obedient to it. La ilaha illallah. And this is why we say this kalima over and over again. Allah Ta'ala bless us with this ni'mat of Tawheed. So afat, challenges, trials, tribulations will come. Now tell me, isn't there a great need for a mazmoon like this here, and to speak about it in the times of trials and tribulations and challenges? Allah Ta'ala make us muwahhid, those who proclaim truly the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the true sense. La ilaha illallah. There is none worthy of worship but Allah. La maqsuda illallah. La ma'buda illallah. There is no deity but Allah. There is no objective and goal other than Allah. Allah Ta'ala bless us with affinity to this path towards Him. Allah Ta'ala entrench deeply into our hearts Tawheed and the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In essence, our aqaid, Tawheed, Risalat and Qiyamat. The oneness of Allah, Risalat of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and the aqidah of Qiyamat, Akhirat, Resurrection, Jannat, Jahannam, etc. You know, when the floods would come there in Fatehpur, then Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb used to say that if you people come right, then everything will come right. Now he would scold us and reprimand us at that time also. When we were worried, he also came out of the building, out of the fear that perhaps this building would collapse. We all went into the fields. And what was all of this about? Taake riqqat peda ho jaye, so that the softness and the heart could be humbled at that time, and then from the recesses of our hearts we could turn to Allah and make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He would reprimand us and scold us so that narmi could come into our hearts. Ilahi maqsood man tuhi wa rizaye tu muhabbat wa ma'rifat khud bideh. Oh Allah, my goal and my objective is only you and your pleasure. Therefore bless me with your love and your recognition. Listen, love alone. With love alone, a person can go out of control. He needs the reins. You know the reins of the horse? He needs the reins. What reins to keep him or to keep it in control? The reins of recognition. Otherwise, it can throw you off the track. It is ma'rifat that keeps a person in control. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of understanding us and all the Muslimin. Allah Ta'ala bless us with afiyat. Allah Ta'ala save us from the trials, tribulations, fitnas. Me, my children, rather everyone. What has Allah created us for? وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I have not created the jinn and ins except so that they can worship me Yani liyarifun, so that they can recognize me. We should must understand this here. Why have we been created? Whose servants are we? What is our objective? This ma'rifat. And according to our ma'rifat, that's how much we would go forward. Now let's make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Maulana Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Maulana Muhammad. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. اللهم ألف بين قلوبنا وأصلح ذات بيننا واهدنا سبل السلام ونجنا من الظلمات إلى النور وجنبنا الفواحش ما ظهر منها وما بطن وبارك لنا في أسماعنا وأبصارنا وقلوبنا وأزواجنا وذرياتنا وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم بحرمة سيد النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.